I almost reported my own neighbour to the police, and I'm glad I hesitated. I live in a quiet suburban neighbourhood where nothing ever really happens. Same cars, same routines, same people walking their dogs every morning. One night, around 2 a.m, I woke up to loud banging outside. I looked through my window and saw my neighbour loading something heavy into the back of his van. At first, I thought it was none of my business. Then, I noticed he kept looking around, like he was scared someone was watching. That's when I grabbed my phone and almost dialed 911. But something felt off. I waited and watched a little longer. A few minutes later, he ran back into his house and came out carrying a small blanket. That's when I heard it. Crying. My heart dropped. Before I could think, I ran outside and yelled his name. He froze, like he'd been caught doing something terrible. I asked him what was going on. His hands were shaking as he pulled the blanket back. Inside was a tiny puppy, covered in blood, but still breathing. He told me he'd found it on the side of the highway after getting home from a night shift. Someone had clearly hit it and driven off. He didn't want to wait until morning, so he was rushing it to the emergency vet 2 towns over. I stood there feeling sick to my stomach, realizing how wrong I almost was. I followed him to the clinic and waited until sunrise. The vet came out and told us the puppy would survive. That neighbour and I barely spoke after that night, but every time I see him now, I remember how close I was to making the worst assumption of my life.